To import data into Jamovi, you go up here in the leftmost menu, then you go to Open and click Browse. Then you can find your data files. Here I have it as an R data file, but it can also be a CSV file, Excel file, you name it. Click Open, and then you'll see that Jamovi opens the data file in a new instance of the software. You can see here that we have our 4 variables that were in the data, and we are able to take a closer look at each of the variables by double-clicking the header. For example, here in mouse type, I can see that there are 2 levels, control runner and high runner. And if I click on, for example, RPM 7, I see that there is no levels because it's a continuous variable. If I want to change the names of the variables, for example, here gender is spelled with a small g at the start, I can just go in here, click type in gender, and then it will change down here. To do analysis in Jamovi, you first have to, of course, import your data. When you have your data ready, you can click on one of these analyses here. Let's start with some exploration and some descriptives. Then you'll see it opens up a descriptive table. I want to see the different mouse types and split them by caffeine level. So to get this looking nice, I'll just go down here and choose variables across rows. And then we can see that there are 3 different caffeine types. We can see the number of data points, the mean, median, standard deviation, and so forth. If I want to change what I'm shown here, I can go into statistics. Then I can choose I want to see the mode instead of the median. I can choose that I want to see the variance instead of the standard deviation, and so forth. I can also get some descriptive plots down here. For example, maybe I want a bar plot. That makes sense for this type of data. And then I can see I get a bar plot that's split by the caffeine variable. If I also want to split it by gender, I can go up here, click gender, and just pass it into the split by. Then we have male and female, and high runner and control runner. Okay, I can also do some distribution plots by going into exploration again and descriptives. It will then create a new descriptive table down here. Then if I click RPM as the variable, then we can use caffeine type to split by, change the variable to variables across rows. And then we can do a histogram, a density plot, and maybe a QQ plot. So here we get all of the different plots we ask it to do. We can also do a box plot, maybe with some data, so we can actually see it. We can use it stacked if we want to, and add the mean. So this is a very quick way to do statistical analyses. And as you can see, you can also do t-tests, ANOVA, regression, frequency tables, and so forth. It is also possible to compute new variables from existing variables in Jamovi. Let's say that I want to do a t-test, but I only want to do it on the water group to see if there's a difference here on the gender. Then I will want to filter out the Gatorade and Red Bull group as is seen here in the caffeine variable. To do that, I go into the data tab. Then I can, the variable tab. Then I can click down here on the plus sign to add a variable and click insert computed variable. Then I want to call it water group maybe. And then I go down here into the function box. I can click on this sign on the left to kind of get shown all the possible functions. They look a little bit like Excel to me. So I go down and find the filter function, double click it, and then it will insert the filter function. Then I want the RPM7 function, or RPM7 variable. That's the one we want to filter. And I add a comma. And I want all the RPM7s where the caffeine source is water. So I go caffeine equal water. And of course this is a string, so I have to put it in tabs here. Okay, then let's go to a data table. Then we can see here the water group variable is populated only by the ones where the caffeine is water. I can then go to analyses again, choose t-test. Let's just do an independent samples t-test. Then I'll set the RPN7 as the dependent. Then I'll set the water group as the dependent variable and the gender as the grouping variable. And we get a p-value and a df and a t-statistic. To translate between jamovi and R, it is important to know that all jamovi does is call a special function or special package in R and displays it really nicely. So we can actually see this code. If we go into the three dots up here on the right and then click syntax mode, we are shown the code for all the different descriptive tables and the t-test down here, and we can copy the exact code out here and put it into R. So I'll just right click on the code and choose copy. Then I'll go into R and paste it. Be aware that this uses the JMV package. I do not have that one installed, so I will just quickly install it. Yes, I want to install it. It has to restart the session. Great. And I also have to import the data to actually make it work. So here I have the same data as I have in jamovi. And then it comes in here as X. However, it is called data, as you see here in the jamovi function. So I'll just quickly change data into X, and then I can run the function. You see it produces the same descriptives as before. It also produces some different plots. Here are all three plots that we had in jamovi.